We are killed around the world. The people never get to the truth. Every day I see somebody disappear and then taken in question or whatever, heaven knows where. Please, Lord, bring it to this nation.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to this week's episode of Christian Warriors. Tonight's question: what would you be willing to sacrifice for love? Think about that for a minute. What would you be willing to sacrifice for love? What or who would you be willing to die for? See, that's an easy question when you think about it. Here's a more difficult question. What or who would you be willing to live for? In this week's episode of the Cuban Warriors, The Immigrant and the Power of Love, Dr. Julio Antonio DeMarmo is going to share his personal stories of love and sacrifice and how that not only impacted his life, but his family's as well. And now, Dr. Julio Antonio DeMarmo, my friend and yours, the Cuban Lightning.
Thank you very much. And good evening. I come back to you tonight to tell you a little story about how I escaped Cuba and how I came to be an immigrant. I believe I earned that for 10 years, risking my life in Cuba, inside to the main power in the government, taking the most valuable information from the Fidel Castro office, prime ministers, supposedly, at that time, and send it to Guantanamo base to our friends to try to prevent our servicemen die all over the world, product to the information to the Cuban government, provide to other terrorist networks around the world. As I came to be an immigrant, and I left Guantanamo after I swam for 12 hours, and I arrived to Florida, I realized how hard it come to be an immigrant when you love your homeland so much, how much you lose your country, how much you're missing your family. And not too far in time, when I reached to Florida, arriving in Florida, it will be a fountain of joy and sadness at the same time, because I received a phone call a few days later. At that time, my fountain information in Cuba, what I left behind, informed me that my wife has been killed and my child has been killed. What it not be true later on. They died, but no, later on, not precisely at that time. Evidently, they spread that false news in order to destroy me morally and send that tremendous weight to put it in my shoulders. To me, I cannot express tonight the pain and the suffering I go through at that moment. Just imagine it. You leave behind the people you love the most, and just hear that the government is being killing them. To you, I don't have no words to express how I feel at that moment. I go in sorrow for weeks, if not months, until I find out and discover that that is all lies the government spread in order to make me suffer, because they are so vindictive. They want to punish me because how dare I've been escaping Cuba. God sent us the power of love, and love and his power flourish in your heart, because God takes something from you and he brings something bigger and greater tomorrow. And I in sorrow for many years because I cannot communicate with my family. I risking even communicating with them that the truth or the lie coming be true, what they've been told me that they've been going to, if they've been dead, it will come in a reality. And I live with that, burn it all these years, trying to get them out of there, doing the impossible through the intelligence network and the diplomatic channels. And I don't have a minute of rest in all the years I just spend doing some work with the intelligence network all over the world, sinking in my family always. But God, as I say, reward me with a woman, what I later lost in the zipper operation through what Jesus told me. You have to trust her, you have to tell her everything, or you'll be losing her. But unfortunately, I cannot trust that woman as I trust my wife I left behind. And but she gave me a great gift I never forget, and I thank her for the rest of my life. I said, beautiful girl, blue eyes, curly hair, and reddish hair, like I born many years before. And for that, I thank God very much, because I love that little girl with all my heart. I can tell you the love and the power to Jesus Christ is immense. And when He takes something from you, you will get it multiplied.
I will miss you, my dolphin, raining from the sky, while the tears of my mind.
The moment in our life, been brief, my love, as they've been passing by, faster than the lights. Never mind, my love, when I'm watching you as you play in the rough and soft way.
Jacob, the Judas to the 20th century. Let's come back to Jacob a little bit. Jacob actually is not his real name. And you will see in one of the episodes how he identified himself with his real name. Jacob, the reason we come back to him is to show to people, even after all what Jacob did to me, the pain and suffering and misery he put me through, exposing me as a cover, a spy for almost 15 or 20 years in my life, and not only exposing me, but betraying me, lying himself, calling me to help him once more. And when I arrived to his house, offered me a drink, a fresh made lemonade by his wife, and tried to sit me down and made me comfortable in his good environment. Not even let me know he got in the back room, the Secret Service agents, and he is winding up, and he recording everything I say to him. Try to give me money, what is already marked by the Secret Service, in order to entrap me. To, if I grab the money in payment for whatever I give you to him, then I will be dealing with another count in the federal court for the counterfeit currency. What I actually give to him is a gift. I'm not dealing with any kind of business or anything like that, but they put that in his mind. And putting that in his mind, he actually tried to follow up whatever the agents tell it to do in order to get away or try to get away and implicate me in exchange to whatever promise the Secret Service make to him. Jacob, what I give you a green card, Jacob, what I actually practically keep it out of the poverty. Jacob, the man, he say he will take a bullet for me because he is so in love, whatever gestures I have of generosity for him. The Jacob has been swear many times that's been my best friend. And he do for me whatever. I never trusted completely. That is a reason. I never bring it in our team. And I will keep it in only as a messenger. And Jaco actually is the one in the zipper operation I sent to the Caribbean islands to get a monk to finish the job. The printer, the government or the intelligence community offer me cannot do because he's not have the expertise or he have encountered a problem that he cannot solve. And that Jaco, the person I entrust and put my heart on, completely betrayed me. And like my uncle say, you cannot put your trust in anyone completely. You always hold down a little bargain in case that person turn against you. Well, I don't do that with Jaco because I consider Jaco practically like my son. And then my son I lost in Cuba many years later. And Jaco used that friendship and trust to benefit himself, to benefit his family, and to betray me the way he did. But God worked in mysterious ways. And he put Jaco in my road again 2 more times. Heaven knows, it might be a 3rd one later on. Because we are still here, running around in this world. The first time, I tell her I forgive them. You got my forgiveness, and I don't hold any grudges to you. And the second time, as we showed before to you, he trembled what I hold in his hand, and I call him my friend. And he apologized again 20 years later. And I say, you don't have nothing to apologize. You're my friend. We all make mistakes. God bless you. And you have me as a friend still. That is the power of love and forgiveness.
Mi mundo en tinieblas, yo caminé y caminé por el mundo en tinieblas, con muchos desengaños, sin yo saber el porqué, por este mundo.
The story I will tell you tonight is not really a pretty story. It's many sad and terrible stories about the people and the immigrants coming from Cuba. And that is my friend Geneva. Geneva is one of my characters in the Zipper, the Cuban Lightning, the Zipper book, and the Zipper operation. She's a partake in the whole operation. She's a wonderful lady. She's still alive and with us. excuse my language, kicking butt, because she is an extraordinary woman. And if he just hear me tonight, what I'm pretty sure he will be hear me and watch the show, she will be kicking me or at least pinching me because I should not, she don't like to be glorified. Anyway, Geneva and I go a long way, but we are maybe 9, 10 years old in Cuba. His father and mother, an entire family, her little sister, they live very close to my house in Pinar del Rio, it's a city in Cuba. And Geneva, we going to school together, we grew up together. She is a little younger than me, and evidently she got a crush on me because of my character, my personality, and how gentle I've been with her all the time, protecting her in school from all the bullies and stuff like that. Geneva, I don't have words to express how I feel about Geneva. It's love, promote love in a friendship way, as a sister, as somebody you really have an admiration for. Geneva, coming around me, where I a commander to the Junior Army from Castro and the revolution. The family never sympathized with the revolution. That never stopped me to be her friend and be around them. And I used my position in the government, believe it or not, risking my life to take gas out of my military jeep and put it in tanks, the 5 gallons, and bring it to the beach, they call it in Pinar del Rio, Las Canas, to their home, to they can storage gasoline, because they communicate to me they're going to leave Cuba, and I say I'm willing to help. In the beginning, the father think it's just crazy, because, you know, being a commander, being around Fidel Castro and all these people, they feel like going to be turned in. But that distrust fail and go away, and the trust take over, and the faith in me and my attitude to protect them, to the point that they got in trouble with the injured they're going to use in the boat, and I managed to get another injured for them, and smuggling the injured in my government cars and bring it to their point where they going to abandon Cuba, what is that beach we just mentioned a little while ago. In the night I saw them leaving Cuba, where I helped them to even carry the food and the water and the gas to the boat, because you cannot have none of those items in the boat sitting. You have to carry in the middle of the night when you're going to be ready to leave, because the authority checking all the time, and immediately they take something like that, they're going to know that people is going to escape Cuba. I cry. I very young, probably 13 years old, 14 years old. I cry to see them go and pray, Jesus, please help them. Let them make sounds and safe to Florida. That night, I just turn around after I see the little boat leave, and I hope that they make it. Few weeks later, I find out that the neighbors in the same beach, Las Canas, find pieces of the boat with the name in the back to the boat Geneva's father supposed to own. And later we find out, by her own words, because she is the only survivor, that the Cuban military and Air Force fly and talk to them, and with machine guns shoot the little boat, making this boat sunk in the ocean. And she saw actually how the mother and the father and the little sister is being devoured by the sharks.
So many people in this world. Why me? Why you? Did you ask ever yourself? Why you? Why me? We meet for a reason.
I want to begin in this segment is apologizing to you guys in homes because these stories bring me really bad memories, and sometimes no matter what, how strong we are, our emotions betray us, and I had to take a little time to compose myself. It's not going to be easy to finish this segment now. I maybe share with you how I feel, because this is my childhood friends. This is my childhood friends. What I've been, some of them lost in the fight for evil, against evil, and the fight for freedom around the world. And while we're talking about these things, we come back in time and relieve with a full force emotions. And I tell people to shed tears, especially in public. Not because I consider myself weak or anything like that. I know that is a human emotions. But I don't think we should give you any room for criticize to our enemies and show weakness to our enemies. Not to you guys, you my friends. I will be telling you never survived by fluke. One of the heroic, and I have to mention this tonight, heroic gestures to our beautiful, great, in the Coast Guard, when they pull it out of the ocean, floating in the wreck, and bring it to Florida. And thanks to the Lord Jesus Christ, she has been by my side for many years and is still today alive. As a witness to how evil these people in Cuba running that communist government are. You don't make any difference if it's the Castro brothers or Che Guevara or any other individual in charge in there. They all the same dog with a different color. It's a system, and it's a systematic abuse, killing people, arresting people, doing horrible things to people, like shooting people in the ocean because they want to prevent the embarrassment to see those people arrive to Florida and telling their stories about the horrible things and horrible time they live in their country. I'm going to mention very brief, because I don't think I'm going to make it to the end, my other friend Arturo. Arturo is another friend, grew up with me, going to school together. Arturo, family, grab a little boat, and in the middle of the ocean, they run out of gas, and they start to die for lack of water, food, and supplies. They don't make the boat to get a start because they don't have gas no matter what. And the little baby, very tiny baby, the Arturo mother half died in her arms. They one by one being leaving the bodies in the ocean, and Arturo, as he told himself to me, crying like a baby, survived by fluke with the tremendous sacrifice the mother did, not drinking the last waters and drop it drop by drop in his lips, maintaining Arturo alive, what is only 7 or 8 years old, or 9 years old. And later on, squeezing milk out of her breast and put her in a little can and squeezing that milk, the mother Arturo helped Arturo to survive that tremendous and horrible trip that nobody should ever have to go through. And the mother, unfortunately, don't survive. She died too. And Arturo, my great friend Arturo, is being assassinated by the Cuban government right here in USA soil, in Marina del Rey, in Los Angeles. Gunned down many years later because he's working for your freedom and tried to stop these people take your freedom away as they did it in Cuba.
Give me a moment to catch my breath. I mean, can you feel the passion? Can you feel the power of love? Can you feel Jesus Christ as a guardian angel protecting Dr. Marmol's life? That same divine intervention is protecting your life as well. What you heard tonight is the behind-the-scenes information of the stories in Dr. Marmol's book, The Cuban Lightning, the Zipper. If you have been touched by Dr. Marmol, as I have been, please go to the website now on your screen and purchase a copy of the book. The funds go directly to helping fund our project in mission of spreading truth, faith, forgiveness, and freedom to the world. And for those of you who can't afford the book, send us an email to the address on the screen and we will send you a PDF copy for free. You can help us with our mission by spreading the word of Dr. Julio Antonio de Marmol, my friend, your friend, the Cuban Lightning. Thank you, good night, God bless, and may Jesus be with you.